Okay, so here are different ways that you can invest using crowdfunding. Vestor, of course, which is my crowdfunding platform. Vestor is a crowdfunding platform for hotels and other commercial real estate asset classes. CrowdStreet is investor. You don't have to be an accredited or a non-accredited investor. For those who don't know, an accredited, non-accredited investor, accredited investor is someone who makes over 200,000 a year, and they have a net worth of $1 million or more. So that is an accredited investor. And a lot of times with these crowdfunding websites or even investment deals, you have to be an accredited investor. CrowdStreet, you have to be an accredited investor to invest Hotelier Co. I don't believe so. And same thing with Equity Root. So there are not too many hotel, there's only one hotel crowdfunding platform, that's mine. There are different websites you can invest in different deals. So you look for deals based off your investment thesis, which we'll talk about in a few. You analyze the deal, conduct your own due diligence, which we're talking about. And then if it makes sense, if it's a good investment, then you'll follow the instructions and invest. So I got a question that says, what are the elements of the team when you're a syndicator? We have not gotten there yet. So trust me, I will go over that. All right. So these are different types of REITs. They're hotel, healthcare, industrial, residential, retail, self-storage, and data centers. We're going to mostly be talking about hotels. There are about 18 different lodging REITs. So for my folks who want to passively invest in hotels, you can definitely go through the hotel REIT route. Meaning you can, so for instance, ROJ Trust is a Black-owned hotel, those are Black-owned lodging REIT. And you're investing in their they have like over 100 hotels in their portfolio. So you're investing in that particular portfolio, and and then you get dividends based off the portfolio performance. That's how it works. All right, we still good? Y'all with me? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all still with me. All right, cool. That makes sense with the REITs. Okay. So I just wanted to give you all options since we have a lot of passive investors who want to invest. So here's a checklist to kind of get you started. Create your investment criteria, which we'll go over in a few. Go to REIT.com to learn more about REITs and research the REIT before you make that investment. And if you don't have a financial advisor, please consult one. Check Morningstar to do research on your REIT, morningstar.com. For example, that REIT I just mentioned, RLJ Trust, there's Park Hotels. Like I said, there's 18 different REITs. Do your research and to see how it performed during COVID, to see how it performed, within the past year or 5 years. Understand the risk, again, check the history of the REIT, and then research different brokerage accounts. And if you don't just talk to a financial advisor, right? And they can kind of walk you through it, and they can help you do the due diligence to see which one works for you. Again, that's for my folks who want to passively invest. And you can invest in the REIT with as low as like $10. So that's a great way to get started. Now you won't get that much back in dividends, but at least you're getting started. You're getting the monthly reports. You're listening on the earnings calls. So that's the kind of way to get your feet wet, right? How to invest in a private equity deal. This is the second pathway I mentioned before. You can network with other hotel owners. So for instance, when you start meeting, once you invest in hotels, you start meeting other hotel owners, and that's how you get the deals, right? So people who, were in my circle or community, they heard about the deal and they were able to invest. Attend hotel ownership conferences like NABHOOD, which stands for the National Association of Black Hotel Owners, Operators, and Developers. They have an annual conference networking with those type of folks. Ask if they have any upcoming investment opportunities. And then you analyze the deals based off your ownership thesis. You hear me say this a lot, but we'll go over it and determine if it's a syndication, right? So check the paperwork again. Check with your financial advisor, check with legal, especially if you're investing in a private equity deal, because you're investing directly into that deal. So you're investing directly into that sponsor. I talked about a REIT before. REITs are publicly traded or they're privately traded, but at least they have some type of regulation, right? Investing is always risky, but investing in a REIT may not be as risky as investing in a private deal because you're investing directly with someone, right? So you just want to make sure that you're working with legal, working with the financial advisor, and making sure that you're protected as an investor, because there's certain documents that you need to look for when you're investing in a private equity deal, which are offering documents, and they're not offering documents or operating agreement, then that's a red flag. All right, so you heard me talk about creating your ownership thesis, so we're going to talk about this. Okay, so ownership thesis is think of this as a compass, think of this as a guide, right? Because hotels, it's a complicated asset. There are over 20 different hotel types. There are over 100 different brands. So you would literally get lost trying to figure out which hotel to invest in. Like everybody, just so many people that say Marriott, some people say Hilton. We had somebody say the hotel brand in Japan, right? So when you're trying to figure out which one is the best one to invest in, you can get lost. You actually could get overwhelmed. So think of the investment thesis as a compass, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to determine your investment goals. Okay. And for those who wanted a copy of this, I believe Janet, she put the Dropbox link. It said this slide isn't clear. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a little bit blurry.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't sure.
It's in the workbook. So if y'all have the workbook, y'all can just pull it up.
Yeah, I just dropped it in the chat again.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you because it's clear on my end. I don't know. All right. So maybe if I in the presentation.
Maybe if you like stop sharing and share again. Oh, it looks good now. I don't know how that worked.
Okay, maybe because it was blown up. I don't know. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got the investment thesis. So the first thing you want to do is determine your investment goals. Before you invest, you want to create your investment thesis. So the first question that was a part of your investment thesis is, are you an investor or, are you an active or passive investors? Those different pathways will help you determine your goals, right? Because if you have more of a passive approach, then you're going to look at crowdfunding, REITs. Your approach is going to be differently. It's going to be different, right? The amount of capital you need to bring into the table is going to be different because you're just passively investing, right? Identify your hotel type. Okay. Do you want to invest in the Marriott? Do you want to invest in the Hilton? Do you want to invest in a Hyatt? Do you want to invest in extended stay property? Do you want to invest in a select stay property, which we'll talk about in a few? But think about the different types of hotel that you want to invest in, the type of brands. Establish your investment path, right? Which we just talked about. Do you want to do active or passive? And then your exit strategy. How long do you plan to invest? How long do you plan to hold on to your investment? So if you're looking to, invest in something and, you want to get out in 3 years, if somebody brings you a 10-year deal, that's not going to work for you. So if somebody brings you a 10-year deal, but you only want your money to be tied up for 5 years, that deal is not going to, you see how you're not even wasting your time going back and forth because it's just not going to work for you. But let's say you do want your money to be held for 10 years, then those are the deals you need to look at. Let's say you only want to look at deals that's only in Kentucky, right? Let's say you only want to look at deals only international, right? So that's what I mean by investment thesis, because it kind of gives you a compass. So I give you an idea of my investment thesis. I personally cannot take on deals I can take on deals probably anywhere in the country because a management company. But right now, where I am in my life right now, I can't look at a deal that's in Alaska because it's too far. I got a baby. If something happens, even I have a management company, for me to go out and check on my property once a quarter is too much. Another thing is my investment thesis, how my life is set up right now. Any property that I get, I have to have a management company because physically it's impossible for me to check in a guest right now because I have so many other things. So if somebody brings me a deal and they're like, hey, I got this deal and I want you to partner with me, but we have to run it and check in guests. I can't take that because it won't work. And another thing is my investment thesis, I don't really do international hotels. That's just not my thing. I don't understand it. I'm not trying to understand it right now. Like, that's just not my thing. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's not my thing because that's just going to require me to learn a lot and I don't have time for that. Again, that's me. You may want to do a hotel internationally and that's what you want to do. That's fine because it's based off what you want to do. It's certain brand types that I look at. It's certain hotel types like select service, extended stay. If you notice my portfolio, it's select service and extended stay. Those are the type of hotels that I like to look at, right? So that is a part of we holding them for 3 to 5 years. We're not holding them any longer. That's my investment thesis.